The application by the Guptas to halt the freezing of their assets has been dismissed. They wanted time to determine a representative for the legal battles. Island Site Investment was added as an accused in a case where Gupta associate Iqbal Sharma and others were accused of procurement fraud in the Free State. Senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is at the court with more details. Good morning, Aviwe. We understand that it has in fact been postponed, at least, that they've dismissed the postponement of that matter. Just talk to me about everything that came out in court.
Certainly postponed, Mfundo, till the 20th, the confirmation of the restraint order by the NPA will be heard only on the 20th and the 21st of October. Remember that Island Site Investment wanted this matter to be postponed in order to get clarity in terms of who runs their legal affairs. Remember, the company was put in business rescue back in 2015, so it's been run by business rescue practitioners. Hence, they wanted the halting of this particular matter until that application that they've made at the SCA in terms of getting it there and knowing who will represent then Island Site Investment. But of course, that has been dismissed here, but it seems like they got what they wanted in a way, because they wanted this postponement to be at least 4 weeks, but this matter now will only be heard in October. I actually want to catch up with Cindy Siwa-Seboka from the NPA on what happens next. Thank you, Cindy, for joining us at eNCA, but this seems like a win-win situation.
No. As the investigating directorate, we won. We actually argued yesterday saying that the postponement should not be granted and that we should be able to then start the hearing in terms of the confirmation of the restraint. For us, this is a clear win. What happens between now and then? The reason that we got October is because of the calendar of the various SCs here, and the earliest available date was October. As the ID, we are committed to ensure that we continue to fight for the confirmation of the restraint. You will also know that next year, in January, it has been set down provisionally that the trial in the 24.9 million Nulani matter actually does continue. Should that matter then continue and be finalized, it means that we can then move on to the next step.
Okay, talk to us about the importance of getting this confirmation of the restraint order in place. How important is it for the NPA investigating directorate?
You would know that the ID strategy from inception has always been to basically tackle or attend to the various people we believe looted the state coffers from all fronts. This is in the criminal aspect. At times we even go to the SARS legs. Here we've also employed the asset forfeiture route. So this is another way in which we are attempting to ensure that much of the coffers, much of the assets that were looted actually are sold and then brought back into the state coffers.
Did we get any clarity in terms of why this particular matter and this urgent application by Island Site Investment was postponed, or when are we to hear those details?
I didn't get the question.
As to why this particular matter was postponed, did we get clarity why has it been postponed?
So remember that yesterday the application was for the postponement. That has been dismissed. What is happening now is that in October, because that's the earliest date for all of the legal representatives to be present in court for the arguments on the 20th until the 21st of October. But I think what is interesting or should be noted is that in the interim, the rule nisi or the interim restraint order continues to run and be in effect, meaning the curator that is looking after the assets continues to be in place, meaning there is no chance of dissemination of those assets. So whatever happens between now and then, as the state, we're actually quite comfortable that the assets will not be taken abroad or basically given over to other people in terms of the shares, that they continue to be in safekeeping. For us, that is pivotal, and the court has found in our favor in that respect.
This matter is a bit curious, Cindy, in terms of the Guptas and Island Site Investment wanting to represent themselves legally in these matters, yet they are abroad. When will we bring them back into the country? Making any headway in that regard?
So I must also clarify that that is a separate aspect. You'd know that the ID last year had actually indicated, after the arrest of the people that are currently in the country, that we have started the process with Interpol in order to get red notices for the Gupta brothers. The red notices were issued as early as February this year for the two Gupta brothers and 4 other associates that are Indian national descent. So about 6 of the 8 that we requested have red notices issued against them. So we are actually, that's now with Interpol. So Interpol is basically now taking on the process of speaking to the various member states across the globe in order to find out if they're in any of those jurisdictions. And from then on, we'll be able to act. But what we must also emphasize is that is a separate process apart from this. But this is a different process where we're trying to ensure that the assets of the Gupta family owned by Islandside and the assets of Iqbal Sharma and Nulani remain restrained.
Okay, and then just maybe for better clarity for our viewers at home, the assets are restrained, they frozen at the interim, they're not allowed to sell them off. Maybe just give us that better understanding.
So what the restraint essentially means is that all of the assets that are currently in the country, POCA actually extends to assets that are actually abroad also. But the curator then looks after or safekeeps those assets. They also manage those assets. So it means that if, for example, one of the accused is not able to continue paying their legal fees, they have to apply to the curator or the court in order to be able to be given some form of money in order to continue. So those assets are in safekeeping. We sleep well at night knowing that they're being looked after by a state-appointed curator.
Okay, thank you very much. Sincere Siboka is from the Investigating Directorate. After that dismissal of the application by Islandside Investment, owned by the Gupta brothers, Atul and Rajesh, as well as their wives, they were saying that application that they want to represent themselves as the directors in the legal matters of the company. Remember that they went under business rescue in 2015, and their business affairs now have been handled by the business rescue practitioners as well as their legal affairs. They now saying that they want to represent themselves, but oddly enough, they're not even in the country, and there are still those processes underway to get them back in the country. But that application, Mfundo, has been dismissed here by the High Court in Bloemfontein, and of course now we are set to hear the confirmation of the restraint order, which is to happen on the 20th and the 21st of October this year.
All right. Thank you very much for that update. That's our senior reporter, Aviwe Mtila.